Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for taking the time to be here and to come and celebrate with us the life of our dear brother Lotfi. And we thank the Lord for how the Lord used him, how the Lord brought him into our lives, and we praise God for his presence and his family with us today. Often when we come to these occasions, we are filled with sorrow and we are filled with sadness. But it is wonderful the hope that we have because of our Lord Jesus Christ, that this is not the end, but very soon and shortly we shall all be with each other. I'd like to, on behalf of the assembly here, welcome you. If anybody needs the bathrooms, they're just outside the doors on the right-hand side. You feel free to make your way out. Other than that, we'll make a few more announcements towards the end. In the beginning, I'd like to ask our dear brother Wagdi Khalil to please come and open for us in a word of prayer. Thank you.
يا أبونا المحب، أشكرك من كل القلب لأجل النعمة الغنية ومحبتك الكثيرة لنا. يا أبونا بنشكرك من كل القلب لأجل مقاصدك من نحونا. كل مقاصدك صالحة. شكرا لك من كل القلب يا أبونا في محبتك. أعطيتنا أغلى ما لك، أعطيتنا ربنا يسوع المسيح ابنك وحيدك الغالي على قلبك. لم تعزه عنا بل بذلته لأجلنا أجمعين. أشكرك من كل القلب يا أبونا لأجل الحياة الأبدية التي أعطيتها لنا لكي نعرفك ونعرف ربنا يسوع المسيح الذي أرسلته. أشكرك من كل القلب لأجل النعمة التي لنا في قلبك منذ الأزل، النعمة التي نتمتع بها طول الرحلة. أشكرك من كل القلب. أشكرك يا أبونا. بنيجي النهاردة قدامك بكل خضوع لمشيئتك، واثقين إنك حكيم لا تخطئ، واثقين إن كنت سمحت برقاد أخونا لكن هو مع المسيح وذاك أفضل جدا. يا أبونا الطيب، يا أبونا المحب، أنت أبو الرأفة وإله كل تعزية. نصلي أن تسكب تعزيات السماء في قلوب العائلة، الزوجة والأولاد وجميع قديسيك. يا أبونا أيضا نصلي لأجل هذه الفرصة أن يتعظم المسيح فيما بيننا. أشكرك. نصلي لأجل كل قلب موجود، إن كانت هناك نفس لم تتعرف عليه بعد، استثمر عمل ابنك في حياة كل شخص لم يتعرف عليه، لتكن هذه الفرصة فرصة بركة حقيقية لكل منا. عشان كده بنصلي أن تعطينا كلام مباشر من عندك، كلام تشجيع، كلام تعزية، وليلمع مجيء ربنا يسوع أمام قلوبنا الذي لك معه كل المجد. آمين.
خلونا نقف كده في محضر ربنا واحنا بنقول بشوق وحنين وصبر سنين بكل يقين. بشوق وحنين وصبر سنين بكل يقين وإيمان للسما شخصين ومنتظرين نشوفك بالعيان. بشوق وحنين وصبر سنين بكل يقين وإيمان للسما شخصين ومنتظرين نشوفك بالعين. وتناهى الليل تناهى وتقارب النهار وعرسنا جاي ياخدنا مستوطن الديار. وتناهى الليل تناهى وتقارب النهار وعرسنا جاي ياخدنا بالديار. نصعد بهتاف نصعد بهتاف بصوت البوق ومسحنا ينادينا نهتف على طول ننشد ونقول مجدا لك يا فريدنا. نصعد بهتاف وبصوت البوق ومسحنا ينادينا غني على طول ننشد ونقول مجدا لك يا فريدنا. وتناهى الليل تناهى وتقارب النهار وعرسنا جاي ياخدنا مستوطن الديار. وتناهى الليل تناهى وتقارب النهار وعرسنا جاي ياخدنا مستوطن الديار. يا غربة خلاص ضرب الأيام ونهارنا مش هيعود. هانت العلامات هانت الصعوبة يا غربة خلاص ضرب الأيام ونهارنا مش هيعود. هانت العلامات هانت الصعوبة احنا اليوم نوعد. وتناهى الليل تناهى وتقارب النهار وعرسنا جاي ياخدنا مستوطن الديار. وتناهى الليل تناهى وعرسنا جاي ياخدنا مستوطن الديار. آمين تعال يا حبيبنا تعال أرواحنا بتناديك حقق وعدك وبصدق ده شعبك بيستنى. آمين تعال آمين تعال يا حبيبنا تعال أرواحنا بتناديك حقق وعدك وبصدق ده شعبك بيستنى. وتناهى الليل تناهى وتقارب النهار وعرسنا جاي ياخدنا وتناهى الليل تناهى وتقارب النهار وعرسنا كي يخوننا بصوت الديار.
In the last hymn that was sung in Arabic, it really does speak of the desire of the heart to see and wait for the Lord. When we see the Lord, so much will change, so much will happen, so much that we're not even aware of will be different. This life as we know it will be completely different. For no longer shall we be living here on this earth, but those who are the Lord's shall be with him. One of the beautiful passages that we find in the scriptures is found in the epistle of 1 Thessalonians. And I want to read just a few words there from this passage. He says in verse 13 of chapter 4, "But I would have you know, brethren, to not be ignorant concerning those who have fallen asleep, that you do not sorrow, even just like others sorrow who have no hope. But if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even to them also who sleep in Jesus will God bring with him. For we say this unto you by the word of the Lord, that we who are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them who are asleep. For the Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we, which are alive, shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and we shall ever be with the Lord. Therefore, comfort one another with these words." It's hard for us to imagine what that moment will be like. But he tells us here that whilst there is a sorrow, our sorrow is not like the sorrow of everyone in this world. Because our sorrow has in light a hope. It has in its end, it has a goal. This is not the end. This is just the continuation of a life with Christ. The sadness that we feel is, in a way, I believe that God has given us this so that we might sense in a little way what he feels. Imagine for how long he has longed for our dear brother Lotfi to be with him. How much our God has missed him. How much our God desires to have him in his presence. And the Lord says, I miss him. I want him to be with me. I want him to be in my presence. The sorrow that you feel, the sadness that you feel, it's only temporary. But now, what I have desired is for him to be with me, my child to be with me. How do I know that this is actually going to happen? And maybe this is just something that we want to happen. But how do we know? And the Bible tells us that the way in which we know comes in the next verse, in verse 14. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him. He doesn't talk here about any conditions. He doesn't say, on what basis will you ever see Brother Lotfi again? What's the premise? You have to be a good person in order to see him again? You have to be a person who lives a good moral life in order to see him again? He doesn't say that. He says those who believe that Jesus died and rose again shall have this hope and shall see him. How simple is the gospel message? How beautiful and how basic. It's not, imagine the Lord turned around and said, only those who are of a special group could ever see him. Only those who go to this particular church shall ever see him. Only those who live this sort of life shall ever see him. But that's not what the scriptures tell us. The scriptures tell us that those who believe that Jesus died and rose again, they're the ones that shall see those who have gone before us and be with the Lord. So my question to you is, my friend, is not whether you're a good person or whether you're a good Christian. My question to you is, do you actually believe that Jesus died and rose again? Because if you do, then you have this hope that we will see our Lord and see those who have gone before us. I think when the Lord said these words, they're such profound words that the words had to come, as he tells us in verse 16. He says, for the Lord himself shall descend. You know, this is such a precious moment. It's such a beautiful time that the Lord doesn't want to say, doesn't command an angel, go down and bring my children to me. No, but rather the Lord says himself, I shall come myself. I shall go and collect them myself. You know, when you travel and you arrive in the airport, so often when I come back from traveling, my family is waiting for me in the airport. And so often as you come down the ramp, as you come out of the immigration and customs, and you look outside and you wait. And often I hear my little son, who's about 7 years old, little Micah, and he'll run, and he'll say, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy. And he'll run towards me. Now, I think to myself, it would be different if he, maybe my son, was in a capacity to say, look, I'll send my friend to go and meet my dad. I'll send someone that's very special to me to go and meet my dad. No. He wants to come and meet me. The Lord himself can't wait to meet you. And the Lord himself can't wait to have you and to see you. He can't wait for the moment in which you are in his presence. He can't wait. We can't wait. We long for it and he longs for it. And here the apostle tells us, I didn't receive these words. This is not what I'm coming up with. These are not my words, but these are the words that the Lord has delivered. I've received from him. Such a powerful message. He didn't say this about many things. But when it came to reuniting us with Christ, the Lord himself must be present. So as a result, he says, therefore, comfort one another. What is our comfort? How do we find comfort in times of sorrow like this? Where is our dear brother Lotfi right now? He's not here. As it tells us at the end of verse 17, and we shall ever be with the Lord. I dare you to try and snatch him out of his hands, or to entice him to come back. Many years ago, there was a godly woman that passed away. And I remember when we went to visit her, I was only a child. And I remember she was suffering and she was quite sick, that my parents were there. And my parents said to her as she was lying there in her last days, saying, we're praying for you, that the Lord brings you back to us. Her response was, no, please don't. I mean, I want to be made well, of course, but please don't. I'm too close to him now to ever want to come back. And in a way, this is if we went to him now and we said, oh, we would love you to be back with us. And he would say, I love you, but I'm where I'm supposed to be. I'm with the one that loves me. And my friend, what about your destiny? What about your eternity? For some of you, you're leaving it up to a chance. It's like you're getting a coin and you're going to flip it. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe he'll accept me, maybe he won't. But when we realize that this whole passage has nothing to do with me, but rather to do with his longing for me, then the work of this passage, the responsibility of this passage, the blessing of this passage is that He is coming for me. Not me going to Him, but Him coming for me. And even when the Lord takes some of us beforehand, before the time, it's the Lord giving us an indication. I long for my children. I can't wait for them to be in my presence. See, this is why we can comfort one another with these words. You don't leave your life and your eternity up to chance. You don't sit there and say, I hope that somehow, some way, all the good that I've done will outweigh all the bad that I've done. No. The scriptures are very clear to us, and they tell us, for by grace you are saved through faith. When Brother Lotfi closed his eyes here on earth, he knew where he would open them. Not because he's good, not because he's moral, not because he's done so much, but because this is the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ. When it saves, it holds on and it saves to the end. My friends, we have come today not to mourn the way that others mourn. We have come today to thank God for a life. To thank God for a life that led His family to the knowledge of Christ. We thank God for a life that was lived in humility, a life that He was one of the quietest people you ever would meet. And yet His life spoke 1,000 words every moment. Why? Because He was a reflection of His Savior, a reflection of His Lord. You know, there are people in our lives that will speak. And there are people who make their presence known. And there are people who are quiet. And in every person, every child of God, the same way that a child here takes on the traits of their father, so us as God's children take on the traits of our own Father. And so in our brother Lotfi, we see the gentleness of God, and the quietness of God, and the peace of God. I don't think that I've ever met that man without a smile on his face. And that is the joy that comes because of his relationship with his Savior. I think if he was here today, I'm sure I know what he would say. He would say, John, don't talk about me. Don't talk about who I am. Talk about who my Lord is. Talk about Him. He is the source of happiness. He is the one that comforts. He's the one that brings peace. And He is the one that fills the life with hope. So therefore, do not mourn as others who have no hope, but rather comfort one another with these words. Our prayer is that our God of all comfort may comfort His dear wife and His family. And you are not far from the arms of the Lord. This is in a small way drawing you into the arms of the Lord. And in a small way, this is just the Lord saying, come to me. You're tired, you're sad, I know. Come to me. And those of us that are feeling the weight of this moment, I pray that God would drive you to the feet of His Son. And if you don't know, or you are not sure, then I pray that you would take those words that it said in verse 14. If we believe that Jesus died and rose again, we shall see Him very soon. May God give us the hope. Perhaps today we shall be with the Lord. And until then, let us live lives that reflect who our Lord is in our life. I'd like to now ask for Ahmed, Leah, and Naomi to come up and present a poem to their granddad.
Hi everybody, my name is Leah. Last Saturday, God decided that Geddo should live with him because he was in so much pain. In heaven, there is no more pain, and even though we miss him so much, we are happy for him as we know that now he is singing with the angels. We had a wonderful grandfather, one who never really grew old. His smile was made of sunshine and his heart was solid gold. All of us miss him so much, but we just have to remember he is in a better place. His eyes were as bright as shining stars, and his cheeks were fair roses. You see, we had a wonderful grandfather, and that's how it will always be.
Hello, my name is Naomi. Geddu means so much to us. Thank you for the smiles, love, laughter, and gifts. We never left your house empty-handed. You had lots of pain, but now you are resting in a better place with no more pain. We have an angel in heaven. We will miss you so much. Pray for us.
Thank you.
إن عشنا فللرب نعيش، وإن متنا فللرب نموت، وإن عشنا وإن متنا فللرب نحن. اليوم نودع أبونا الغالي على رجاء القيامة، لأن ليس موت لعبيدك بل هو انتقال. هو ده رجانا. وطوبى الأموات الذين يموتون في الرب، يقول الروح، لكي يستريحوا من أتعابهم وأعمالهم تتبعهم. اسمحوا لي أقول بعض الكلمات اللي من قلبي لأبويا الغالي الحبيب. بقول له أخدت معاك إيمانك، وهو ده راس مالك. بعد ما سبت البرية والأشياء الأرضية، سكنت في منازل سماوية الرب يسوع أعددها لك. سكنت في منازل سماوية الرب يسوع أعددها لك. مع السلامة يلي تجرت بالوزنات، مع السلامة يلي الزيت في حياتك زاد، مع السلامة يلي بقيت زي العذارى الحاكمات. من فخ الصياد نجاك، وجاهدت وأكاليل اداك. لما فحصت قلبك وحسبته، كل المجد الباطل سبته، ومسكت في يسوع وكسبته. كنت أمين يا هناك وطباك. كل المجد الباطل سبته، ومسكت في يسوع وكسبته. كنت أمين يا هناك وطباك. خدمت الرب بكل أمانة، رحت السما ولسه معانا، وروحك الحلوة حسانة يا حبيبنا لا يمكن ننساك. رحت السما ولسه معانا، وروحك الحلوة حسانة يا حبيبنا لا يمكن ننساك. أمين.
We'll now sing an English hymn together. It's found in your booklets, How Deep the Father's Love for Us.
Let's sing this wonderful hymn together, which reminds us of the deep love of God, which was demonstrated in the giving of His only Son, the Lord Jesus.
Beyond
treasure. How great the pain of searing loss. The Father turns his face away as wounds which mar the chosen one bring many sons to glory. Behold the man upon the cross, my sin upon his shoulders. Ashamed I hear my mocking voice call out among the scoffers. It was my sin that held him there until it was accomplished. His dying breath has brought me life. I know that it is finished. I will not boast in anything, no gifts, no power, no wisdom, but I will boast in Jesus Christ, his death and resurrection. Why should I gain from his reward? I cannot give an answer, but this I know with all my heart: his wounds have paid my ransom.
Truly is a beautiful hymn. How deep the Father's love for us. Now I'd like to ask Marco if he's happy to come up and share a few words about his dad.
Today was the first time I don't bring Dad to church. We're here to celebrate and remember an amazing person. He was simple, calm, humble, kind, generous, and he respected everyone. He was pretty cool, somewhat embarrassing, but every parent is. He wasn't just Dad, but my friend as well. He gave the best hugs. He reminded me of the loving Father in the parable of the prodigal son, in that every time I returned from travel, he would get up and greet me with hugs and kisses. And he would tell me Next time you travel, come earlier, as you were gone far too long. Dad was known by everyone for giving, but to be a giver, you have to have heaps of things to give away. So Dad was also a collector. He would go to the markets every Thursday and Saturday and come back with a shopping trolley full of old mobile phones, laptops, cameras, jewellery and watches. And he would sit for hours working on them, repairing them. Dad's logical thinking was, if it was for sale, it was coming home, pets were exempt. You knew Dad went to the markets that day because he would have 3 or 4 electronic devices charging at the same time in the living room. I came home, I can confirm our safety switch was doing a good job. If you ever came or even walked past the house, he would tell you to wait here and he would go inside the garage and he would find something to give you. He was generous. No one really knew this about Dad, but for years on the rubbish bin collection day, he would get up early, prepare a cup of tea and 2 biscuits for the truck driver. And in the warmer days, he would give them a cold drink instead. He saw everyone equal. He wasn't just an amazing person to those who he came across, but he had an amazing testimony when he committed his life to Christ. In 1987, before departing to Sydney, my uncle gave Dad a card with contact details of an Egyptian who lived in Sydney. My uncle told Dad, when you get to Sydney, call him and he'll help you. A few weeks had passed. We had arrived in Sydney. At the time, we were living in Earlwood. And truth be told, Dad only picked that house because there was a pub 200 metres from the house. One summer evening, there was a knock on the front door. There was a gentleman and his wife at the door. He introduced himself saying his name was Samir Gendi. Dad was thinking that name sounded familiar. Where did he know it? Where has he heard that name before? He told Samir Gendi to wait at the door while he went to his cupboard, and my uncle gave him the contact card and he put it in his pocket at the airport. And he asked Samir Gendi, "Is this you?" He said, "Yes." He goes, "Is this your phone number?" He said, "Yes." That night, Dad went to Soul Salvation Assembly in Strathfield, and that night he gave his life to God. And it's because of that night he was saved. And it's because of that night we are comforted and have hope in that right now he is with the Lord and Saviour. Forever with the Lord. He made our world a brighter place, a better place. And we thank God that we were blessed to have him as our Father. Until we meet again, we will miss him forever. And we miss him and love him. On behalf of the family, I just wanted to thank all the churches that opened the doors for Dad. All the texts, all the phone calls, all the visits, even when he was in hospital. Words. We don't have enough words to express our thanks and gratitude to everyone. hopefully this little thing we've done for him will honour him. Thank you.
God's ways are so far above our ways. And when he probably came to this country, he had different aspirations, but God had a different plan. And blessed be the name of our Lord. I'd like to ask our dear brother Emil Atalla to come and close our time in prayer. Then we'll have a few announcements and then a final hymn.
يا أبانا نحن نشكرك يا رب من كل القلب لأجل ما صنعه بالابن الغالي من أجلنا، فدى حياتنا، عبرنا من بحيرة متقدة بالنار والكبريت إلى ملكوت ابن محبتك. شكرا ليك يا رب لأننا لسنا كالباقين، ولكن لنا في المسيح يسوع كل رجاء أكيد إننا سنسكن عندك إلى الأبد. يا رب إن كان يشق علينا ويصعب علينا جدا فراق أخونا الغالي، لكن نحن نثق 100% يا رب أن جسده يرقد على رجاء، وأن بروحه هو عندك الآن، كما وعدت أنه اليوم يكون معك في الفردوس يا سيدنا الرب. نبارك اسمك ونعظمك لأجل هذا الرجاء الذي يملأ القلب والعقل وينسينا ألم الفراق والحزن، حيث نكون معك إلى الأبد، لا حزن ولا بكاء ولا مرض ولا موت ولا أي شيء يا سيدنا الرب يعكر صفاء حياتنا مع جلالك يا رب. صلاة خاصة من كل قلب يا رب لأجل هذه الأسرة، في اسم المسيح يا رب. اذكر أختي فيفي بين إيديك يا رب، أعطي تعزية وسلام الله الذي يفوق كل عقل، الذي يحفظ القلب والفكر في المسيح يسوع. اذكر ابنيه وبناته يا سيدنا الرب، اذكر الأحفاد، واذكر هذه الأسرة والأهل والأصدقاء. عزائك يملى القلب والنفس والفكر في اسم الغالي يسوع. بارك أيضا أحبائي من أتوا لكي يعزوا الأسرة، كافئ تعب محبة الجميع، قابلا شكرنا جميعا، ولك كل الإكرام وكل المجد يا رب. آمين.
So once again, thank you everyone for making the time to be here with us today and to thank the Lord for this life. Just a few quick announcements. The details for the burial are on a piece of paper just outside at the table. So if you are planning on going to the burial site, please make sure you grab one. You need to be at the burial site at 12:15. So please make sure you make your way. There is a bit of distance there to get there. So please grab a piece of paper from outside. This means that the family will need to depart from here in about 20 minutes or 25 minutes. So if you are going to the burial site, please save your condolences till then. Otherwise, you can obviously pray for them and say hello to them outside. Thank you again for coming. We do praise the Lord for this life. We have a responsibility, and that is to continue to pray for the family and continue to pray that the Lord may comfort them over the coming weeks and months, and that the Lord may bring us to a point where we look forward to that blessed hope where we're forever with the Lord. So we'll now have a final song that is played as the casket is taken out.
Oh, I've heard 1,000 stories of what they think you're like, but I've heard the tender whisper of love. tell me that you're pleased and that I'm never alone. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Oh, and I've seen many searching for answers far and wide, but I know we're all searching for answers. Only you provide, 'cause you know just what we need before we say a word. You're a good, good Father. It's who you are. It's who you are. It's who you are, and I'm loved by you. It's who I am. It's who I am. It's who I am. Because you are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways. You are perfect in all of your ways to Oh, it's love so undeniable. I can hardly speak. Peace so unexplainable. I can hardly think as you call me. Deeper still as you call